Hi 6A, here we are, lesson 5 of Numeracy in lockdown, and we're going to continue our adventure into investigating two-digit multiplication. Last lesson we looked at partial products, which was taking a total and looking at what numbers add up to make that total and then using manageable chunks. Today we're going to look at something called a factor. So the first question I'm going to ask you is this. What is a factor? And no, it's nothing to do with Simon Cowell. Pause the video, have a think. So what is a factor? A factor is a number that multiplies with another number to create a total. For example, there are factors of 12. 1 times 12, there's 2 factors. 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. They're all factors of 12. Okay, so what we're going to do this time is have a look at how we can use these factors to make our steps even less than if we do partial products. Let's have a look at a question, let's go through it, then we'll give one together and then we'll get straight onto the questions this week. Let's go. Right, let's have a look at this question to start with. We've got 21 times 15. Now, if we think back to the first lesson this week, we could partition this number into 10 and 5, or we could partition this number into 10, 10 and 1. Now, that's fine, and we could do it that way. But what if I was to tell you there was a quicker way of doing it? Pause the video and list the factors of these numbers. Off you go. Right, I hope you've got something that looks a bit like this. So for 21, we've got 1 times 21, that's one pair of factors, and we've got 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21, so that is a factor of 21. For 15, we've got 1 times 5 and 3 times 5. Remember, for multiplication, it doesn't matter which way around we write these. We could have written 5 times 3. It's the same thing. So your next step, if we're going to use the factors to help us break down the question into manageable chunks, is which times tables are the easiest for you. Now for me, 3 and the 5 times table are the easiest of that list, so it is this one that I am going to pick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my bar here, and I'm going to put it in 3 manageable chunks, and in each chunk we're going to duplicate the same thing, which is the other number, which is 21. As you can see, I have now done my 3 chunks of 21. So I've got 21, 21, and 21. What I need to do now is bring it down here, and I need to duplicate the 3 chunks of 21 into my partitioned place value and add it up. That'll give me how many 3 groups of 21 are. I know I need 15, but 3 is a good place to start. So 20, 20, 20, 1, 1, 1. Well, 3 ones is obviously 3. I'll cover up the zeros. 2, 4, 6, times it by 10, 60. 60 add 3, 63. So 3 chunks of 21 is 63. Now I know I need 15, so we're going to come back up to the factors. We've done 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a bar with 5 equal boxes this time. Now instead of putting 21 in, we're going to duplicate the groups of 3. So in each box of the 5, we're going to put in 63, which is a slight change from what we've been doing. But all we're doing is duplicating a bigger number. It just means we can do it in less steps. So I'm going to go and draw my bar of 5, and in each box I'm going to put 63 this time. Okay, now you can see I've got my second factor here, which is 5. I've broken it up into the 5 equal chunks, and in each one this time I've not put 21, I put 63. So this time for every one box it's worth 3 instead of 1. Okay, and you'll know that 3 times 5 is 15. So now I can partition these down. So I've got 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. And then I've got the same with the 60. So I've got 5, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, and 60. Now, I'm going to count up these in 6s, and then I'm going to multiply my answer. So I've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. It's 30 times 10 because I'm not times it by 6, I'm times it by 30. So it's 300. So 300 add 15 is 315. The answer is 315. Now that is much quicker than drawing 15 boxes and then needing to add them all up. Let's try another one. This time I'm going to pause at each step and you are going to do it for yourself.
What we're going to do is use this question to help us. In a league there are 18 teams. Each team is allowed a squad of 24 players. How many players can play in this league in total? So what I need you to do is go through the question and pick out what the sum is. I'll give you a clue. It's a multiplication question.
Now you've read the question and hope you've picked out these two numbers, 18 and 24. So what we're doing is we're multiplying these together. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to pause the video, and what you're going to do is write down all the factors from both numbers. Pause the video, give that a go now. Right, you should have a list like this. 18 has got 3 pairs of factors and 24 has got 4. Your next job now, have a look at these pairs. Which one has a nice, easy couple of times tables you're going to do? I can't choose that for you. Some of you will be really good at some times tables and not so good on others. What we need to do is pick one of the pairs. You could pick 3 and 6, that's a good one to go for, or 4 and 6 would probably be the easiest two. Some of you might want to do 2 and 9, some of you might want to do 3 and 8. Up to you though. Pick one, and what I want you to do is draw the first set of bars. So for example, if you do 3 times 6, you're going to draw a box down here with 3 equal boxes, and you're going to do 24 in each one. Remember, if you've picked a factor from this side, you're going to put this number in. If you've picked a factor from this side, you're going to put this number in. Okay? Pause the video, do that, and we'll see which one I've picked in just a second. I have picked 3 times 6 to use as my factors, which I've broken up. So I've broken up the 18, so I'm going to focus on putting 24 and duplicating that a set number of times. So what I've done down here is I have duplicated 24 3 times. Don't panic if you've not done this. You've picked a different set of factors. We should end up with the same answer at the end, although our answers in the middle will be a bit different. Your next job, take the bar that you've done, remember it might look a bit different from this, and partition it and add it up. So you've got a first total, okay? So take your tens or your units from here, add them up, and then add them together. I'll see you after this. I hope you can see that I have now done this. I've taken my 4s down into my units and I've taken my 10s down into there. I've added them up. 4, 8, 12, 20, 40, 60. 60 add 12 is 72. So that tells me how many 3 groups of 24 are. I know I need 18, but now each box is going to be worth 3 instead of 1, so it makes me be able to count faster. So what I'm going to do is the next part. My other factor I've got here, I've done the 3, so I'm going to do the 6. If you've done one over here, for example, if you've done 4, your next factor is also going to be 6. If you've done 3 here, the next factor is going to be 8. If you've done 2, your next factor is going to be 9. So what I want you to do is use your second number, so in my case it's 6. So I'm going to draw a bar of 6 equal places, and instead of putting 24 in this time, I want each box to be worth 72. Pause the video, take your next step. Okay, as we can see, I have done my 6 boxes because I'm doing the factors of 3 and 6. And instead of putting 24 in this time, I've put in 72. So each of these boxes is 3 groups of 24. If you haven't taken your answer from down here and placed it in these boxes, you will not get this right. Okay, that's a very important step. What I need you to do now is take these boxes which have been duplicated, put them into your place values, add them up, and then we'll see what the answer is. Hopefully we'll all get the same answer. Pause the video here, do the last 2 bits, and we'll see what the answer is. You should have something like this. You might have different numbers if you've used different factors. So I have got my 6 groups of 2, which is 12, and I've got my 6 groups of 70. Now all I did was 7 times 6, which you know is 42. Times that by 10 to make it up 10 times more, and then I've added them together. 420 add 12. The answer we should all have, hopefully, fingers crossed, is 432.
Before we get started on the question then, let's just reflect and go through the steps. Step 1. Pick out your two numbers and then list the factors of those numbers. 2. Select the easiest two factors for you. That'll completely depend on personal preference. 3. Take one of those factors that you've selected and duplicate the other one in your drawing. 4. Take your new total that you've created and apply that to the second factor, just like I did in the last video. The last step, understand that this new total you're duplicating is not worth one amount of the group, it'll be worth more than one. This is very important, and that's the part that allows us to save time. I hope that strategy has made sense, and now that we've gone through the steps broken down, I hope we can do it. Now, what we're going to do now is have a go at the questions on the Google Slides. They should all relate to using this strategy. If you want to do it by drawing the bars and breaking it up into two halves, that's fine. If you are confident enough to do this by just doing multiplication, go ahead and just show me the numbers in your workings. But what I want to see on your workings today is just breaking the factors. Give it a go. It might be a wee bit tricky for some of you, it might be easy for others, and that's all part of learning. Keep any mistakes in your answers so I can see whether it was too easy or too hard for next week. Good luck, and I look forward to looking at your answers.